Hey, what's up? This is Bigfishin Custom Tackle, and today this is going to be a follow-up video to my first video, Everything You Need to Know About Halibut Leaders. This is the sequel to that, and we're going to talk about wire halibut leaders today. And I know in my first video that I said a lot of the merits of monofilament leaders, and I do. I think that there's great leaders and they'll catch fish, but you know, sometimes you got to change your tactics a little bit when you're out there. And last year I just couldn't seem to get a bite on one of them, so I switched over to a little bit closer to how my fishing partner fishes, and I added a couple of things that did real well. And so I'm going to show you what worked for me last year, and I think it'll work for you guys. So first thing you need is some wire halibut line. You can get this at tackle warehouses, sportsman stores, you know, that type of thing. This is 90-pound 7-strand wire. Okay, you need a piece about 36 inches long. Then you're going to need to start off with a 9-aught octopus hook. So you come down through the top of the eye, so you got your tag line coming down towards the bend in the shank. Okay, what I like to do is I go around the shank of the hook and I come back up through the eye to form a loop. Come on now. Around the shank of the hook. Okay. So I've formed a loop around the shank of the hook and brought it back up through the eye. Now you have your line and your tag line. Then you're going to take yourself a crimp sleeve. And they sell all different sizes of crimp sleeves. You're gonna, when you buy your wire, you want to get crimp sleeves that match. These are just small copper. I believe they're made out of copper, and you just smash them closed. They sell crimp sleeves. If they're selling wire, they're selling crimp sleeves. So then you take your crimp sleeve and you slide it down by the hook right there. Now, this is important right here. Is you want to make sure that these two pieces of wire aren't crossing each other inside there or rolling. You want to keep them as straight as possible here so you get the best crimp. Okay. These are a pair of fishing crimpers. They sell these at the tackle store also. They got a little wire cutter in here, and then they got different size holes for you to put the crimps in. Okay. So then you're going to smash that crimp down there to hold it in place. Okay, so you kind of pull on that, make sure you got a nice good crimp on there. And so I actually like to add a second crimp sleeve, just because I don't like to lose fish, and I don't think it seems to make a difference to the fish if there's two crimp sleeves on there or not. So to be safe, I like to add another crimp sleeve. Just almost right on top of it. This requires a little bit of hand strength, so. Okay, so now you've got your two crimp sleeves on your 9-aught Gamakatsu hook. And you clip off your tag line, leave yourself, you know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch right there. Just a little bit. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to slide on one more crimp sleeve. Okay. So you slide on another crimp sleeve. Then you're going to slide on another 9-aught octopus hook. Okay. So now you've got your two hooks on there. So you got your hook, and you actually have 3 crimp sleeves here. 2 of them are crimped. One of them is just floating. I'll show you what that's for a little bit later. As you can see, it just slides. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to slide on a, I believe this is a 7.5 inch glow hoochie skirt. So like you remember when I showed you in the last video, to hold it flat, grab it like this, like it's going to sit upward with the eyes on top, and cut a little slit in the top of it. Don't just cut the top of it off like this, because you'll make a big hole and it slides down over everything. Then take this and you slide on your hoochie skirt. Comes right out the top there. Grab your legs, hold them off to the side like this. Slide it right up inside of there. Okay. Pretty much the same as last video. But here comes a little extra touch that I think worked really good. Okay. This is a glow bead. This is a pretty large glow bead. I don't know. I'd say it's at least 1/4 of an inch across. You're going to slide on glow bead. Okay. Now, on top of the glow bead, we're going to put on this spinning float that glows. You might have seen these. They're made by other companies. Some of them have little fabric wings on them or whatever, some kind of plastic wings. But basically, this thing just twirls in the current a little bit. Okay? That little bit of extra action counts for a lot in my opinion. It's dark down there. Just that little bit of extra action, they can feel that in the water. It just creates just that little bit more down there to bring them to your bait. So you've got your glow hoochie, your glow bead, and then now you're going to put on your glow float, spinning float. So they sell, some companies sell these. You can buy them. They call them spinning glows, and these particular ones I get from a place, and I can't tell you where because I can't give away all my secrets. So there you go, right there. You've got glow skirt, glow bead, glow spinner. Okay, so that's pretty much a complete halibut leader right there. So the next thing you want to do is we got to trim this thing down to size. So we started off with a piece of wire that was about 36 inches. We are going to bring this thing down to about 28 inches because I like them just a little bit longer than they sell them at the store. Okay, so I got a mark on my table because I make a lot of these at once. So I'm going to measure it on my mark on the table here, kind of figure out where I'm at. Okay, that's right about there. Next thing you're going to do is you need 2 more crimp sleeves, because I like to double crimp everything. And you slide them on there, and I'm pinching this the whole time where 28 inches is at, so I kind of know. It doesn't have to be exact. If it's an inch short or an inch longer, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. You come down through the top of your crimp sleeve here, slide your extra down, and you make a loop. Now you don't want to make too small of a loop, but you also don't want to make a large loop because they can get hung up. They can cause you extra trouble on your spreader bar there. So that's about the size of the loop. I don't know. That's not quite as big around as a dime, but somewhere in there. You know, and everybody has different preferences. So here we go. We're crimping this down. Crimping it down. Okay. And then you kind of want to, after you got it set, you kind of want to give it a little extra smash. Because the one thing about making your own leaders is, if you lose a fish, there ain't nobody else to blame but you if your crimp breaks. You know, if you go out fishing, you're buying your halibut leaders, you can, and it breaks, you can blame it on them. But I'll tell you what, I have lost a fish due to one of my crimps letting loose few years back, and I'll tell you what, that one just about crushed me because that was nobody's fault but mine, and that ain't a good feeling. Everybody else in the boat got a fish that day, and I got my one shot at glory, and my crimp let loose on me. Talk about sniveling the whole way home, I'll tell you what. Alright. Then you're going to cut it off with your crimps that you got here. Now you've got the perfect halibut leader. Okay? This is what my setup's going to look like this year. This is what worked real well for me last year. Everybody teased me about putting the spin and glow on there, but I'll tell you what, that little bit of extra action helped, I think. And so this is exactly how I'm going to be fishing this year. Okay? So, let's get back to here, this part, talk about this for a second here. So remember I had you guys put on that extra crimp sleeve? That extra crimp sleeve, for some of the people that don't know, is to hold this hook up. So what you would do is, you'd figure out how long your herring are. We're fishing like, 8-inch herring, something like that, 9-inch herring. So you want to give yourself a pretty good distance between your two hooks. And you crimp that crimp sleeve right there, and it keeps this hook up high and keeps your bait out long and straight, because if you don't hook these up, if you don't smash that crimp and you hook this into the nose of your herring and then this through the tail, what will happen is the two of them will do this, it'll bend your herring, tear your bait all up. So crimp that extra crimp right there. Figure out how long your bait is going to be. This one goes through the head, this one goes through the tail. So anyways, I hope that helps you guys out. We're getting excited for halibut season here. It starts at the beginning of May, and hope that, I want you guys keep your rods on the water, and I'll see you out there.